When you think of Japanese food, you may picture sushi, gyoza, or noodle dishes like udon and ramen. But unless you're really into Japanese culture, you probably haven't heard of Japanese curry. Japan's curry is very unique compared to curry in other countries in that most Japanese curries taste very similar and have nearly identical ingredients no matter where you get them from. Japanese curry is actually the unofficial national dish of Japan, being the most commonly consumed food in the whole country. It's estimated that the average Japanese person eats Japanese curry at least once a week. Welcome to the Curry Kingdoms, our 3-part series exploring the origins of curry and its evolution across Asia and beyond. In part 1, our family visited Goa, India to understand how this Portuguese colony traded curry spices around the world and sent India's bold flavors to other cultures. In part 2, we traveled to Bangkok, Thailand, where we ate our weight in Thai green curry before eventually cooking a delicious version of our own. For part 3, we're spending 2 weeks in Tokyo and the surrounding areas to uncover all the different ways the Japanese eat and cook their contribution to the curry landscape. Like, subscribe, and sit back for another globe-trotting foodie adventure. Here we go. The origin of Japanese curry dates back to the mid-1800s. So during the Edo period, Japan blocked itself off from trade from the entire rest of the world, and it was this incredible time for the country that they still celebrate today because it was a long period that they had no wars go on for almost 250 years. We found this little place up in Nikko, north of Tokyo, called Edo Wonderland, where an Edo period town has been built up with a bunch of opportunities to experience life during this cherished time period. You can do some ninja training, watch kabuki theater, and try some different bites. But then in the mid to late 1800s, they started to let in traders again and open themselves back up to the world, and that brought in Western influence and Western tastes into their food again. The British Navy, stationed in ports of Japan, was particularly influential in the creation of Japanese curry, which includes cheap ingredients like onions, carrots, potatoes, and a roux made from flour and spices. They'd enjoyed Indian spices for centuries already and helped to curate this affordable yet delicious combination that provided plenty of calories for the hungry seafarers. The two big makers of prepackaged Japanese curry, S&B and House Foods, started making their products in the mid-1920s. Then TV ads exploded their popularity in the 50s and 60s, while at the same time, Japan began consuming massive amounts of prepackaged foods. And today, nothing has changed. These ready-made curries are extremely popular while using the same recipes from the 1920s. And speaking of the 1920s, that's how long this first curry dish has been served out of the same spot in Tokyo. This is phase 1 of trying Japanese curry. Just buy it from a restaurant. We'll also try instant noodles from a convenience store, a powdered roux mixture, and then from scratch. Now back to our shop from the 20s. This place invented Curry Pon, a hot pocket-like on-the-go way to eat curry. They make them hot and fresh at 7 a.m., 11 a.m., and 3 p.m. We timed it perfectly to get the 11 a.m.s fresh out of the oven. They're a typical Japanese curry wrapped in dough, rolled in breadcrumbs, and deep fried. Let's see it. All right.
She's still hot and fresh.
Isn't the texture nice on her?
It's funny, I had read this. People said they're remarkably heavy. Like, they put a lot in there. So it's bread, they fill it with curry, they close the roll, and then they deep fry it. It's called curry pon. So we got a hot and fresh one, and they had just pulled them out of the oven. They said, "Do you want a hot one?" He said, "Yes."
Oh.
I feel like it almost tastes like that classic chicken-y ramen flavor. That familiar chicken flavor was from Maruchan Instant Noodles, a curry ramen widely available in the US that I ate as a kid. Our first experience getting curry in Tokyo on this trip was actually at this random place for dinner, one of our first nights in the city. We love these little vending machine ordering experiences. Each button has a dish on it and the price. We ordered a basic Japanese curry with no meat to really experience the flavor of just the sauce with rice. We put in our yen, rang up our dishes, and then waited for our order to be called out on the screen. Is this mine?
Soba curry.
Oh, that looks So good. Looks super good. A lot of them are just like this. It's like just sauce with no actual meat in it. The curry pon ended up being much better, but this curry was meatless and very cheap, so we didn't expect too much. On to phase 2. All right, the second way to enjoy Japanese curry requires a little bit of work. You have to buy it at the store, and then you have to heat up a little bit of water, and that's it. But hey, it's phase 2. We were in Utsunomiya, north of Tokyo, and set out to a grocery store to pick up some highly processed curry. Cup noodles was founded in 1971 during the growth of packaged food in Japan. They launched this curry flavor in 1973, which is based on tonkatsu curry, a popular Japanese variety, and features dehydrated pork sausage bits, tons of dried vegetables, and one very surprising ingredient, Parmesan cheese. We are literally in Parma, Italy right now, filming a 3-part series about European cheese, which will be coming out later this year. Now back to the cup noodles.
So do we get 3 or 4?
Oh God, you joking? 2. If we know anything, go for less.
Second easiest. Just add water.
Yeah. Pretty sure that's like dehydrated potato, right?
Yeah.
And like I
And
see carrot in there.
carrots,
I see
yeah.
carrot. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh. All right, let's try it. We paired it up with a viewing of Big Hero 6, which we've now made a habit of watching when we're in Japan. What'd you think, little one? Good?
Yummy?
I like it. I want to take some movie.
Well, we have a bunch, Lucy. You can have a bunch of bites. Phase 3 was the first curry preparation that actually required a little cooking. Back up in Nikko, near the ninja training camp, we went out in the rain to grab our first ingredients to cook. Since you only need about 5 ingredients for this method, it's pretty easy. You can see they even sell pre-chopped onions, carrots, and potatoes together in bags, specifically for Japanese curry, because everyone seems to use these same few ingredients. We bought them whole though so that we could at least say we got a knife out. We grabbed some chicken, and then some rice, which we later swapped out after being told this was for mochi. Thank you, checkout lady, for assuming we didn't know what we were doing. Turns out we could never figure out our rice maker anyway. Have you ever used a rice cooker before?
Literally never in my life. Do I put liquid in here? What do I do?
I thought you did.
Oh yeah, that should be fine.
Prep for this method is simple. Saute the veg until cooked and add in the chicken cubes and brown them a bit. Now comes the pre-made powder roux. S&B claims to have made the first Japanese curry mixture back in 1923, and supposedly they still use the same recipes from back then. Sprinkle that packet onto your meat and veg, add some water, and stir. Cook down a minute or 2 and you're done. Did we ever get that rice cooked? Well, the curry's done. We're still waiting to start the rice maker.
Literally can't even start the rice.
What did I literally say to you that I was gonna have you do tonight?
That all I had to do was cook the rice. I literally
like it's just water and
cannot
rice, right?
figure out. You said, how hard can it be? It's in Japanese, but you're fine. Okay.
Oh, well, it works fine on the stove. Apparently you can add an egg to any Japanese dish, and curry is no different. We threw some onto these curry bowls just to make ourselves cook a bit more and add something a little bit different that we hadn't had so far. Looking pretty good?
Very excited. I don't know traditionally if you eat this with chopsticks or with a spoon. We're gonna go with both.
Okay.
Alright, little ones. I don't know, next, these are like little mini bowls.
I like it.
Is it good?
Yes.
How is she? It tastes right?
Yeah. It's nice with the little egg yolk.
It is. Yeah.
Very nice. Do you like this or the curry pon better?
I like this.
I like this one because it has meat.
So this wasn't the Vermont. It doesn't have the sweetness that some of them have.
Maybe when we do our scratch version, we'll try to integrate some crushed apple in there.
It's good. It's funny. It's like, maybe it's just because it's missing the sweetness. It tastes more mild and, dare I say, more bland than some of the other ones that we've had. I know this was like a very popular brand and this was kind of one of the major players, and it's not my favorite flavor profile, but it's nice. I also have read, which we have just kind of discovered from experience, that it's better second day. Flavors kind of like go in, so if we have leftovers, I think we should try it again second day. Like some people say they literally will make it night before.
Time for phase 4. We planned to make this curry entirely from scratch, but unfortunately couldn't find a store with all the raw spices we needed. So our one consolation was using this pre-made spice blend, also from S&B. The spices in this are turmeric, coriander, cumin, fenugreek, pepper, red chili pepper, garlic, and other undisclosed spices. Maybe they have a couple little secrets in there. Apparently this brand has been selling curry powder in this kind of similar recipe since the 1920s, so it's been around for a while. I don't know if you can really see the color there or not. It's actually very yellow looking. It reminds me of the color of the inside of the curry pan. So I'm thinking that they use something that's more yellow like this, which usually just means more turmeric. I don't taste any salt in that, so I do think we'll end up having to add salt. It's so funny how spices can taste so not good when they're not cooked. It actually has a decent amount of heat, so maybe we won't have to add too much black pepper. We have an extra black pepper and a white pepper if we want to add any more spice into it, but that actually tastes pretty good. Honestly, tastes very similar to the cup noodle ramen that we had. The main goal here was to have a significant departure from the processed food curries that are so widely popular and zero in on the core flavors, adding in as many fresh elements as possible to add more depth of flavor than the packaged curries. But it still begins the same, chopping carrots, potatoes, and onions. Again, they go into the pan with some oil to cook first. The familiar boneless chicken comes out and gets cubed up and into the pan. Now the fresh part begins. Some orange zest or peel along with fresh garlic and ginger. Then some apples. Vermont curry, one of the most popular in Japan, gets its name from a 1950s food trend that had people downing apple cider vinegar and honey to cure almost any ailment. The Vermont health system was associated with good health, so they threw some honey and apple into a curry and took the Vermont name to signal to customers that it had these popular ingredients. We wanted to shred, crush, or blend them, but nothing really worked, so we ended up just rough chopping them and throwing them in. We'd recommend blending to add the full flavor effect. Now the scratch-made roux. Butter goes into the pan, then some flour and that S&B curry spice blend. These little brown spicy butter chunks are what thicken the sauce once the water or stock are added to everything else. It all bubbles down together and then we're back to battling the rice makers. The rice cooker won round one.
I'm out for revenge, redemption, all of the above. I think that the other one had some sort of defect because it's very obvious what you're supposed to do. Put it in, weigh it, press start. It would not work whenever I would press start. So. Cooking rice, reheating. Cut menu rice. Oh yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense.
By Jove. We finally got some rice cooker cooked rice. And yes, there's something to it. It's better with Asian dishes for sure. Alright, I just cracked the lid of this after it had been cooking down for a while and it smells delicious. I think that apple and the orange added a little bit more dimension to it, so I'm excited to see how if it tastes any different, because it actually, when I...
Wow, it does smell good.
Yeah, it smells really just fresh and nice, doesn't it?
Unlike any of the others.
Yeah, something a little bit different, I think.
Gourmet even.
Yeah, really nice.
Look at that, we cooked rice.
Yeah, the rice
I'm
worked.
So proud.
Okay, girlies.
You cooked it well.
That orange peel comes in at the
Really?
end.
What about the apple?
And the cloves. I don't know if I get apple yet.
It's cool to have done the roux from scratch.
I know.
Because then you at least know what you're eating.
I like the chunks of apple though. They do give it nice sweetness.
Yeah, have we even got one yet? I like the cardamom in there as well.
I do too. Nice we had those though because they weren't in the mix and I do think it added something. I think doing the mix on its own won't give you much depth, you know?
Oh, yeah,
This has more depth of flavor
Yeah.
than anything we've tried.
It definitely
Lots
does.
of almonds.
You've now tried Indian curry, you've tried Thai curry, and we've tried Japanese curry. Which one's your favorite?
Japanese curry. I want the noodles in the cups.
What was your favorite out of everything so far?
Honestly, the Thai green that we made. I thought it was spectacular. It was
great.
so fresh. It was so spicy. Like if I'm eating a curry, I want my nose to run. I want my eyes to water. I don't want it to be unbearable, but I want to feel some heat, you know?
And with that, our curry series has come to an end. Each country's curries vary widely from each other. Japan and Thailand share the fact that their countries only have a few popularized versions of their curries, often using a nearly identical set of ingredients. The main differences between them all is how many fresh ingredients are used. We saw that curry in Japan is largely a highly processed food, while Indian curries are almost exclusively scratch-made, with each cook's specific tastes and techniques making almost every Indian curry a different experience. We enjoyed making curries from each of these countries, but Indian curries definitely take the most work. Japanese curry is a wonderful weeknight meal, as it can come together in just 10 to 15 minutes, even made from scratch. And Thai green curry is just that perfect balance of acidity, sweetness, fresh ingredients, and the fattiness from that coconut milk. It's really hard to beat. We have one more 3-part series coming later this year featuring European cheese from France, Italy, and Switzerland. Subscribe to see how stinky French cheese prides itself on tasting like a farm stall, how Italian Parmigiano Reggiano is made by the tons, and to see us hike the Swiss Alps to have cheese fondue on the side of a mountain. We ultimately eat over 15 pounds of cheese as a family of 4 in just 3 weeks. Get ready.